Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of May the 4th, 2014. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Well, I think this week should feel a lot calmer for a lot of people out there, and especially given the fact that now we're easing, we're getting a bit of a breather from what I've been talking about, what a lot of astrologers out there have been talking about, the Cardinal Grand Cross. We'll be getting a little bit of a breather from that, at least for the early part of the week. And I think this is really the positive energy of the eclipse that took place last week sort of coming in. So if you didn't see last week's horoscope, I would encourage you to watch it again, because that horoscope talks about, and the monthly horoscopes as well for April and for May, talk about how the energy is meant to shift specifically for you and what area of life you can find blessings and release and opportunities and possibilities just open up for you. In some cases, quite miraculously so. And so tension from last month now will shift and will start to make a lot of sense. The tension of last month that led to action, that led to contemplation, that led to truth, now we start to reap some of that benefit. Now, early in the week, or in the early part of the week, we have a really harmonious conversation happening between the Sun and Jupiter. And I really like this. To me, this does suggest a real coming together of the events that have taken place over the course of the last 6 weeks, in light of the cosmic climate in April, and now as we head into May as well. Also, once we get into this really harmonious energy of the Sun, it looks like the Sun and Jupiter speaking in what astrologers call a sextile. It looks like this is an opportunity for all of us to be empowered by not only the insights that would have come about in the month of April, but now with this shift of energy, understanding how to fully utilize this shift. And really, this type of conversation called a sextile it's harmonious, but what's really great about it is it isn't just that we have to sort of wait for good things to happen, but it's that we are given keys. It's like the universe is saying, okay, listen to this, go in that direction. If you do this, good things could happen. If you do this, you might develop in these ways. That in turn will lead you to make progress on this front or that front, or at least become a more well-rounded person that eventually can contribute to more practical ways of advancing. And so it really is taking action on behalf of expanding your life and bringing positive energy into your life. So there's a measure of control here. In the middle of the week, we have Mercury returning home to the sign of Gemini. And whenever a planet sort of comes to its home sign, if you will, comes home, it tends to denote a time when that energy just seems to be able to be accessed a lot more harmoniously by all people, depending, of course, on where these placements are taking place in your individual chart. But of course, as I talk about in these horoscopes, depending on what's happening in your chart, according to your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, you do want to be paying attention now, because wherever Gemini goes, it's almost as if a light comes on. It's sort of like a bit of an awakening, not quite the awakening of Uranus, but it is clearer thinking. It is being able to sort of entertain different ideas. It is being able to get different perspectives and see a thing with a little bit more complexity than maybe you were able to before. And it really is having conversations and allowing sort of random interactions to trigger some of these understandings. So that's really going to be heightened for us now. And there's going to be a lot of really quick energy, simultaneous energy, especially on a level of mind as well. This is also, Mercury is considered the trickster. So you really want to watch how people are using language in particular, because it is language that can be used in a variety of different ways. Language can be used to really uplift. It can be used to bring us together. And of course, it can be used in other ways as well that maybe aren't so positive. But what's interesting is with all this dexterity, I do think with Mercury being in its home sign, or one of its home signs, should allow us to sort of at least recognize, or at least catch any duplicity that may be taking place in our own lives, in our own thinking, and also collectively as well, of course. And then finally, we get to the end of the week. Now, this is when I think things get interesting, because really, if you're not feeling something if you're not feeling like you got something to work towards or something to break through or some kind of challenge, I don't know. I think it's an important part of the human experience. It's an important part of being alive. And I, for one, have found that it's always those sort of moments of questioning that lead to the best answers, like the kind of answers that just lift you so high. And so I tend to really welcome them. And while a lot of people were stressing out over the Cardinal Grand Cross, and of course I had my moments as well, I just found the outcome, and especially once the eclipse hit, I just have found it to be an incredible experience. And I've seen amazing examples, you guys sharing with me out there, especially about how you believe that it was one of the best things that happened to you. And I love that. I'm so inspired by your story. So thank you for sharing. When we get to the end of the week, we have the sun standing across from Saturn in the sky. Now, this to me is really interesting because this is the beginning of our sort of intuition, sort of opening ourselves up to the upcoming full moon that's going to take place next week. And so next week there will be a full moon in the sign of Scorpio. I spoke about this for most signs, especially where it would have been important to your sign. I spoke about this in the May monthly horoscopes, and really it is a very special, it is a time of really evaluating things very seriously. However, that seriousness, and a lot of this is going to be sort of instigated by our interactions from other people, that seriousness will give way to some really positive decisions. I do believe that very much, and we should see that with this upcoming full moon, and I will talk more about that next week when we have a much more active celestial climate. So take advantage of the days at the beginning of the week, which may feel like a little bit of a breather. It may feel like we're still carrying this really positive energy into this week, and take full advantage of that harmony, because once we get to the later part of the week, we're asking ourselves tough questions towards the end of the week and into next. That in turn is going to lead to some really grounded, not necessarily just breakthroughs, but choices and advancements and progress, because I just love how this full moon is speaking, if you will. And again, I spoke about that at length in the monthly videos, and we'll talk about it again next week as well. As a side note, I want to say thank you so much to all of you out there with your comments and your sharing. I love it so much. There is a link up. A lot of you ask me about your own chart, and I'm so grateful for your trust. There is a link usually in the YouTube description on my website, floating around here as well. You should see it in one of these corners, for personalized horoscopes if you'd like me to look at your chart specifically. But of course, I love your interactions, your feedback, your positive energy, and I'm just so very grateful for it. Thank you. So how all this speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. And of course, if you are one of those people who likes to jump ahead, just click on the timestamp next to your sign in the YouTube description now. Hello, fabulous Aries. I love this week for you. I love the sense of upliftment that you are feeling now. And it looks very connected to finances. And so you've had this really positive sort of financial lift energy happening. And if you are one of the few Aries still sort of waiting for this week should point the way to what it is that you can actually do to make those financial benefits and bonuses come about for you. Now, later on in the week, towards the end of the week, it looks like there's a little bit of maybe some questions that start to arise around finances as well. But that's okay. You know, it's just part of the process, and it looks like paperwork is integral into that, and that's okay as well. That's going to be a theme that continues into next week. For now, it is about the money that you are earning. And you are likely to get a chance to demonstrate or to at least state your case as to why it is that you believe you deserve more. So just go to the past, look at the past achievements you've had, state those, and you'll find yourself positioning yourself very nicely for a financial boost. Hello, fabulous Taurus. Well, it is the sun moving through your sign, speaking in harmony with Jupiter. That suggests to me that it is almost like you get a lift on a level of heart, on a level of identity, on a level of understanding. So there's been this really moment of truth that's been happening for you. And as I've been speaking about in your monthly horoscopes, and I've said it before, if you are one of those born right around May the 1st, this is supposed to be an especially redefining time for you, where you to get really clear about what really matters to you, but most importantly, who you are and what it is that you desire to demonstrate. And you will just find the universe rushing up to meet you to affirm that new sense of self. Well, this week you feel especially empowered by the insights you've had. And it looks like with the insights continuing, or with the changes continuing, now you start to understand how actually, if I trust this instinct, if I trust this impulse, if I go that way, good things could happen. They might not happen immediately, but you can see the potential. You can see the possibility of being more, of having more, of doing more than you have before. So trust your creativity now, trust your insights, because they are leading you to good places in just about every area of life. Hello, fabulous Gemini. Well, your ruling planet is coming home. Now, this is really important for you. This is huge because this is almost like a return to self. So your ruling planet has spent just under the last year going through the entire zodiac, now has returned to your sign. So it's almost like you are coming home to yourself and have the ability now to evaluate and look at what has transpired over the course of the last year or so, and look at who you are today, who you are now as a result of those experiences. Now, this sense of evaluation and looking is about to get really deep, a little bit further into the month, and especially into next month, as I spoke about in the monthly horoscopes for May. And so understand that it is these moments right now that are actually initiating a process that's going to go a lot deeper for you a little bit further on down the road. And this is you really getting the clarity that you need on a level of mind, on a level of thought, on a level of ideas as to who you are and what is it that you desire to demonstrate and be in the world. It is coming down to identity. How do you identify? There is going to be some shift that takes place, but it's not the final say. It's not the final story. And so be open to the considerations, because you're at the beginning of a very special process that's going to take you weeks down the road, in which you will come to redefine yourself a lot more clearly. And that in turn is also going to contribute to your prosperity as well in the weeks ahead. Hello, fabulous Cancer. Jupiter is in its last stretch through your sign. And this is a time when the universe really is trying to get you to see just how to expand yourself on a level of heart, on a level of possibility as well. And so with the sun providing a boost early in the week, it does suggest to me that it is going to be friendships that help facilitate an understanding of where you could be welcoming in greater, not necessarily just prosperity, although prosperity is a part of it, but it's almost as if they're encouraging you to see a more expanded view of yourself. And it looks like it is directly the help of friends that help you to experience a greater sense of possibility. So whether they're giving you great ideas, they're introducing you to the right people, they're pointing the way, you really want to be listening to what it is that your friends are saying and what it is they are suggesting to you. And this is energy that's continuing from last week, but now it looks like you're energized by it, you're empowered by it. And so whereas things have been sort of shifting around you, happening around you, it looks like now you're ready to take some of that information, take some of those contacts, take some of that direction, and actually make some choices as a result and move yourself in some new directions as well. And I think you're going to like, you are liking very much where it is that you are headed. Keep in mind also that there is a sort of reflective tone that's going to start taking place for you. With Mercury moving into the sign just before yours, some of your most important understandings on a level of mind are going to happen very much behind closed doors and very much in the dream space as well. And so when I see Mercury moving into the sign just before yours, it suggests to me that you want to be keeping a dream journal, because that's a place when a lot of clarity is going to attempt to come forward for you. Hello, fabulous Leo. Well, it is your ruling planet that is speaking with Jupiter this week, especially in the early part of the week. And this does suggest to me that you are getting some insights into what it is that you could do on a level of your career, what direction it is that you can go in. And I do think that given the eclipse last week, there's likely a sense of possibility and opportunity opening up for you now. There's likely a sense of you being needed, of you redefining what it is that's really important to you now and for the period ahead. And it looks like you're likely to see what it is that is worthy of achieving very differently now as a result of the events that transpire. Now, this is going to lead to a shift in your attention and a redefining of just what it is that you're going for and the goals that you have. I actually think that this is an incredibly important week for you, because this week, it's almost as if the insights that you've been having since last week and changes, and you've seen higher ups believe in you. But this week you start to understand that, you know what I'm really going for is my happiness or my fulfillment, or what really matters to me. The goals that really matter to me are different than they were before. And now is the time when you start to feel energized by it. Now is the time when you start to feel, you know what, I'm not going to accept that promotion because that's not really in line with what I want, or I'm actually going to try this whole other new thing. Or, you know what, the boss really sees something in me and I didn't know I could do that, but yeah, why don't I try taking on that project, or why don't I try taking on that new role? So it looks like there's this energy there of you sort of saying to yourself, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a try. And that seems to energize you, because it's almost like you're rolling dice. And I think that your sign is particularly happy when you are rolling the metaphorical dice, if you will. What I also find interesting about this week is ultimately you are moving towards, at the end of this week, we have your ruling planet standing across the sky from Saturn. And this is, I'm seeing some doubt come in, likely reflected on another person. So be careful not to project any of your own doubts. Remember, doubt is a necessary part of faith. Without doubt, faith is not healthy. Faith needs doubt in order to really be strong. If it doesn't question itself, then it's really not a healthy type of faith that anybody wants. And so this is sort of your moment. This is your opportunity to say to yourself, okay, what is it that this other person is reflecting, or what is it that's happening within me? Why is this doubt coming up? And what can I actually do about it? Because ultimately it is your friend. It does look like you're about to reach that perfect balance between understanding who it is that you are, understanding that you've proven what really matters, and being open to having more, and being open to taking greater chances as well. Trust the process, because it is leading you somewhere very good. Hello, fabulous Virgo. Well, your ruling planet is moving to a part of the sky now that has to do with career and achievement. And I look at this placement, and it does suggest to me that there is a part of you that is starting to understand that it's one thing to sort of want something, but it's another thing to actually plan for it on a level of not necessarily just understanding. Okay, so there's one aspect of Virgo that, yes, you plan, you understand, you go over a thing, you really analyze. Really, that's one of the key words of Virgo, is analyze. However, this type of energy is not so much analysis energy. This type of energy is more that, you know what, I'm going to allow a lot of information in. I'm going to tell a lot of people what it is that I want to do. And at the same time, I'm going to start planning for it in the smallest ways. I'm going to start looking at how it is that I'm going about my life. How is it supporting my goals? And I think that a lot of Virgos are going to be taking action steps and making progress on a level of career by really paying attention to what's happening on a level of the day, and really paying attention to what's happening on a level of what they're giving their attention to in the smallest moments as part of contributing to that larger vision, that larger goal. I do think that a lot of Virgos out there likely have sort of reawakened a dream, or reawakened a goal right now, thanks to this recent eclipse that took place. And now you start to think, okay, you've had this reawakening, you've had this vision open up for you. Now let's do it. Now let's achieve it. That's the focus that starts to come in for you right now. And it puts you on a very important path that's going to be a part of your life for the next little while. And so embrace this. It does look like you're very energized. You are lit up. That's the best sense of the word. And you're talking about what you want to do. You're sharing what you want to do. You're having conversations around it, welcoming in new information. And that in turn is going to ensure that you stay on the path towards achievement. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week, with Mercury moving into fellow air sign Gemini, I actually really love this placement for you, given the fact that you are a cardinal sign, and cardinal signs have had a lot of fun these last few weeks with this cardinal cross taking place, and you truly are one of the lucky ones, because it is really matters of identity and changing yourself, making yourself more of who you want to be and owning your power. That has been part of the sacred lessons that actually are going to continue for you now. However, what I really like about this move of Mercury into such a compatible place in the sky for you is that now it's like a vision opens up for you. It's almost like, I think some of you may even hear real angels start singing, but it's almost as if a vision opens up for you, the clarity comes in, you understand how all the things that are taking place around you are actually leading you somewhere good, are leading you to see your life differently, are leading you to align with or understand what that higher vision could be. And I see some of you actually start to think, okay, what more could I do? What more could I be? What more do I want? And this is reaching out to just about every area of life. You're thinking very expansively now, with this cardinal cross sort of touching off all the major points in the chart in the sky. It does suggest to me that with this move, it doesn't stay just isolated to a matter of, okay, I'm feeling all great, I'm feeling this vision open up, but no, you're understanding how now, as a result of the shifts and changes you've been going through, you want something different. Well, what is that? You want to demonstrate yourself as more capable. I do think this is a time, there's an element here of learning more. And so whether this is learning a new language, learning about a new culture, learning about a new belief system, a philosophy, or even learning in a more formal setting of higher education, it looks like these are the things that get your focus now. And some new ideas start coming in, some new stimulation. The likelihood of you actually interacting in these avenues and being affected by somebody younger than yourself is very strongly indicated as well, and the likelihood of you just accessing energy that's very light and youthful and feeling a lift yourself as a result is also very strongly indicated. So be open to that whole prospect, because it does look like you're about to understand yourself and your place in the world differently. And when I say understand, I mean understand on a level of mind, on a level of intellect, and at the very least starting right now, and not just right now but for the weeks ahead, I'm seeing some really important sort of conversations around philosophy and beliefs take place for you that really help you see things very differently and understand things very differently as well, and may make a huge difference in your life. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. Well, at the very end of the week, we do have the sun standing across the sky from Saturn. And this is sort of the official sort of kickstart, if you will, the early start to the full moon in your sign that'll be taking place next week. Now I'll be here to talk about it more then, and I certainly talked a lot about it in the monthly horoscopes for your sign for the month of May, because it is that important a time for you. But it does look like this week, and especially the early part of the week, you're feeling a sense of really upliftment where it comes to partners and partnerships. It looks like it is other people that are sort of spurring you on and encouraging you on. And it looks like attention from others is a part of this package as well. So if you are in a committed relationship, it looks like there's an easy understanding taking place with your partner now, where likely a conversation or some type of exchange helps you see that, okay, yeah, we can actually plan for a future together. We can see ourselves together for a long time. There's a shared vision that comes up now. Those of you who maybe are not in an attached bond, whether you're open to love or you're not open, you're happy single, or whether you have somebody in your sphere right now, it does look like there's an understanding happening for you, where you see how these exchanges actually are meant to help you become however it is that you define better, are meant to help you have new experiences, new understandings as well, and meant to help you clarify just exactly where it is that you believe that you are going. And so have those one-on-one interactions, okay? I would say even get together with people where you are just sitting across from them one-on-one, because it is going to be those exchanges that open up a more optimistic future for you. And you need that inspiration now, especially in the early part of the week, because that inspiration is about to be really grounded into practical progress next week. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. Well, your ruling planet is getting a boost from the sun in the early part of the week. And this does suggest to me that it is you that's feeling a boost, certainly. And I have to say, it looks like the boost is likely to be very work related, financially related as well. And so I have spoken about this as well in the monthly horoscopes as well. But when I look at this type of conversation happening, it looks like workplace progress and financial progress seem very much to go hand in hand. And a scenario like this likely will play out in something like maybe some commission checks or something you'd been waiting for finally come through. Some money owed you finally comes through. That type of sort of lump sum seems to happen. Some sort of bonus comes through for you as a result of the work that you have done or are doing as well. So I'm seeing effort, day-to-day effort, workplace effort, work effort is connected to a big sort of payoff or a big check. That's very likely indicated as well. Another thing that's very likely indicated is health insight, health progress as a result of some changes you've been making. Most likely letting go of a habit or making some sort of significant change that involves an ending will now lead to an increased state of well-being. And so if you're one of those people who has been sort of making changes, being honest with yourself, now you should start feeling a sense of better health, and you should start feeling a lift. And the likelihood of you getting some really good health-related news is very strongly indicated this week as well. All in all, it looks like a week of prosperity. It looks like a week of expansion. And it looks like a week, especially in the early part of the week, when you're experiencing a sense of well-being, or at the very least, you start to understand how the things that you have been encouraged to do have a payoff. And those payoffs, you start to glimpse them now, and you see how if you continue on the path, you'll only get better and better. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. Well, at the end of the week, it is the sun standing across your ruling planet in the sky. And although the sun is in a very harmonious position to you, Saturn as well, harmoniously positioned to you as well. Still, ultimately, this is sort of you feeling a sense of as if somebody else, a strong figure, is standing across you and asking, whether it's asking questions, shining a light, or showing you an aspect of yourself that you've got to be more honest with yourself about. And this can actually enliven you. This can actually enrich you. Keep in mind, as I spoke about in the monthly horoscopes, next week we have a full moon happening that is very positively speaking with Jupiter. And there is such groundedness to the greatest ambitions that you have. And you have to understand that this moment is part of that process. This moment, as you progress through the week and as you get to the end of the week, you want to have somebody there asking you tough questions, because it means that you're in the game. It means that you're in the right game. It means that you are able to really sort of have this sort of exchange where you're seeing somebody else as an equal. They're saying to you, okay, do you really think that you're ready for this big break? Are you ready for this chance? Are you ready for this next step? And it's you that's saying, you know what? I think I am. Why is that? And you're justifying it, but it isn't just that you're pulling things out of air. Rather, it is you asking yourself the relevant questions. You're being asked them, but you're asking yourself them. And as a result of the answers, you see that actually you're a lot more capable than you previously realized. Those questions and answers are so valuable because they will lead to practical progress, really stable, wonderful progress coming up for you next week. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. Well, your ruling planet, your ancient ruling planet, rather, at the end of the week is going to stand across the sky from the sun. And you add to this the fact that your ruling planet, your ancient ruling planet, rather, is in a part of the sky that has to do with how high you want to go in life. It has to do with career advancement. It has to do with your goals. It has to do with success, being somebody that people respect and being recognized as an authority figure. And you have the sun standing across the sky. And you can see this playing out. This is you asking yourself if you have the foundation that you need to actually exert yourself and achieve those big dreams. And this is a wonderful moment for you. Doesn't mean it's going to feel so easy, thankfully so, because you are one of those signs who's certainly enlivened by uneasy feelings, because you understand ultimately on some level that it is a part of change and it's an impetus to change. But you need to ask yourself these questions, and I'm seeing this largely as a very private moment. A small part of you may end up projecting this moment out, where I see it more as an interview scenario of some type, and it may even be an informal interview scenario. But it's almost as if somebody is asking you, okay, you want that promotion? Okay, you want to reach that high? You really want to go that high? And what's really interesting about this is that next week, because we have this very positively themed full moon taking place, you are going to start reaping reward very soon as a result. But if you should find yourself sort of face to face with somebody in power, understand that ultimately these questions are for your good. The sign just before yours is Capricorn. Capricorn's ruling planet is the same as your ruling planet. Capricorns are going to understand this differently. It's going to come very much down to their own understanding of their values, understanding of their worldview, understanding how life has supported them. And it comes down to how they're communicating these ideas. For you, it goes much deeper. For you, it becomes a process of, am I really worthy? Have I done the work? Have I really proven it? It comes down to, can I really feel comfortable stepping into this higher role? Can I embody what it is that I hope to achieve? Am I actually it? Am I being it before I can actually do it? So it becomes a much deeper exploration for you, a much more meaningful exploration for you as well. And these are the questions to welcome, because next week there are going to be some career breakthroughs happening for you, really solid career progress. And it looks like you are so happy as a result. You're feeling very lifted. You're feeling like, whoa, this is kind of a long time coming. And you can see that there's more work as a result, but you're also feeling really lifted by it. I will talk about it more, as I did already in the monthly horoscope. So you may want to watch that, because you need to understand that this week, as you get to the later part of the week, is preparation for that big breakthrough coming up next week. Hello, fabulous Pisces. Well, I love this week for you for so many reasons. I love the fact that your ancient ruling planet is receiving this boost from the sun. Both planets are placed, the sun and Jupiter, harmoniously to you in harmonious parts of the sky. And all of this is opening up a sense of fun. It's opening up a lot of conversations, especially flirty conversations. And it's opening up ideas as to where it is that you can use your intuition to make gains. Now, I say this with a little bit of hesitation, but this could also be a time when you get a really great tip on a bet that you could place. Now, just be a little bit, of course, I say this all the time, don't bet the farm. Right now, you've got Jupiter in a really great place in the sky for you that has to do with your instincts and intuition paying off big time. This is really a time when that is further amplified for you. But it is about you being pointed in a direction. So I'm not seeing it so much about you buying a ticket and that's it. I'm seeing it much more about you being shown, hey, if you learn this and you apply it this way, you could have this sort of payoff. You could get this kind of reward. Or you sort of having a conversation and an instinct arises and you think, should I share this? Should I not? Let me hold on to it. And as a result of that, going and taking action and leading to a big breakthrough. It is about you sort of taking your ownership for the positivity you'd like to experience and then actually doing in the world what it is that you desire so that you can experience that more positive energy, expansive energy, and yes, an energy of reward and breakthroughs is certainly in the air for you now. Well, thank you so much for watching. To all signs out there, it'll be a great week. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.